everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I'm bringing you an expanded deck centered around Darkrai EX, and I'm not clicking on either of these just because it is centered around both of them. I believe this was the exact deck that I think Zach Lesage used. I think I said that right, and I think I'm giving credit to the right person, that he used in regionals way back when, and it is easily my favorite expanded deck of literally any deck I have come across. And so I've been holding off trying to get my hands on a couple full art Darkrai for you guys, but apparently I am not cool enough to do that, and I decided, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to wait anymore. I love this deck way too much to not show it off, and just decided that screw it, I was going to do it for you guys. Now, before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, I'm going with the most nostalgic question I can possibly come up with, and that is, what was the first Pokemon related game you ever played? And that is not limited to main series games like Yellow, Red, and Blue, but it can also be things like Pokemon Stadium and other Pokemon related games. I mean, as long as it was Pokemon centered, if it was your first game, I would really like to hear it. Actually, my first ever Pokemon game was a little CD-ROM about the trading card game that you got in like a box of cereal or something like that. I remember I loved that game so much, and that was back, I think the only cards that were in that CD-ROM were like base set or something close to that, and I played that thing for hours until I lost it. I mean, I've been looking for it in my house somewhere. I can't seem to find it, but either way, I mean, that was my first Pokemon game that really kind of got me started. Admittedly, I stopped playing Pokemon for a long time before I got back into it with Fire Red, and that was the first Pokemon video game, true video game that I had. So let me know what your first Pokemon game was, and I guess what type of feelings you had towards it and why it was your first game. But anyway, on to the deck. This deck, like I said, is centered around both Darkrai EX. I mean, it's really just matchup dependent. This Darkrai is from Breakpoint, has Dark Pulse and Dark Head. You're actually, most of the time you're going to be using Dark Pulse, but Dark Head actually can work in a pinch as well. Dark Pulse does 20 plus 20 times the number of Darkness Energy attached to all of your Pokemon, and Dark Head for 1 Darkness Energy and a DCE, but I mean, in this deck it's going to be all Dark Energy. Does 80 plus 80 if your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep, so this Darkrai hits for a ton of damage. It is more useful against decks that have high HP Pokemon that you can one-shot with Dark Pulse. We are also running this Darkrai from, I believe it was Dark Explorers, but I mean this particular one is from Legendary Treasures. With the Dark Cloak ability, gives each of your Pokemon that has any Darkness Energy attached free retreat, and then Night Spear for essentially 3 Darkness Energy, does 90 and 30 to a bench Pokemon. This Darkrai is fantastic against decks like Night March and stuff like that, that have low HP Pokemon that can hit for a lot. And also, Darkrai's 180 HP and Psychic Resistance really helps in the Night March matchup, to where I would actually say this deck has a favorable matchup against Night March. So, we're running 2 of each, and these guys, although we're only really running 4 attackers in the deck, these guys are more than enough to win you plenty of matches. As for the rest of the Pokemon, we're running 2 Shaman because Shaman, 1 Sableye because it would not be a very, I mean, it wouldn't be a true Dark deck without Sableye from Dark Explorers. I mean, Junk Hunt is just such a ridiculously good card. I mean, it's amazing early game, it's also amazing late game. I mean, Junk Hunt is just such a versatile attack, and Sableye is a great way to get back like the Hypnotoxic lasers and stuff like that to deal with your opponent's Safeguard Pokemon and other Pokemon like that. So, I mean, I know I said like that about 20 times, but Sableye is just an amazing card, and I really have come to love it just by using this deck. I'm also running 1 Hoopa because 8 of our 9 Pokemon in this deck are Pokemon EX, so if you play Hoopa down, that's basically just a free 3 Ultra Balls. I mean, Hoopa does take up a bench spot, but it's not really that limiting in this deck, just because you're only going to be, okay, so say you're taking up 3 spots with Hoopa, Keldeo, and Shaman. Well, that means that you have 3 other Darkrai, or two Darkrai and a Sableye, but either way, you have 3 other spots for 5 other Pokemon, and that usually is more than enough in this deck. So Keldeo is also in there for the Rush Treat, only running 9 Pokemon in this deck. It's more focused on speed and hitting for a ton of damage early, and that's what we are going for. And the reason I decided to say screw it and go with this deck is because I finally, after a really long time for whatever reason, got the 1000 damage daily challenge, and I felt like recording, so I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this deck, and I will go through a whole daily challenge with you guys. This is going to be the first time that I'm actually doing that. I mean, I know I have done other decks in which I have been doing a daily challenge simultaneously, but this is the first time that I'm actually going to do a daily challenge, an entire daily challenge for you guys in one live. So that's a little bit of background of why I am deciding to go with this deck after waiting for so long. But anyway, on to the item cards. Running 4 Battle Compressor to get Darkness Energy and Supporters into the discard pile for Dark Patch and VS Seeker. 1 Computer Search because I love Computer Search. Gets you any card that you could possibly need. 4 Dark Patch and 4 Max Elixir. That's for the speed of being able to hit ridiculous amounts with Dark Pulse, and also potentially even being able to Night Spear first turn if you get enough cards. I mean, this deck actually is able to hit Night Spear first turn more often than not. Well, actually, I wouldn't say more often than not, but a majority of the time it actually is, so that's really, really cool. Running 1 Escape Rope to act as like a makeshift Lysander. You really don't need Switch that much in the deck just because of the free treat from Dark Cloak and also the Rush-In and Retreat from Keldeo, but Escape Rope is always a good item to have just in case you get put to your Keldeo gets put to sleep by a Hypnotoxic Laser or something like that. 4 Hypnotoxic Lasers, Speak of the Devil, and 2 Verbank City Gym to rack up more damage and also put opponents to sleep for Dark Head. I mean, I think the list was originally 3-3, but I decided to go 4-2. I mean, I'm not sure if it was 4-2 originally. If it was, though, then yes, I'm just unoriginal. But either way, Hypnotoxic Laser is such a phenomenal card and also helps out with damage, adding it to Night Spear and Dark Pulse and putting your opponent to sleep with Dark Head to be able to do 160 damage in 1 turn and even knock out a lot of EXs in conjunction with Verbank. So Hypnotoxic Laser is phenomenal. Running 1 Super Odd to put some Pokemon and energy back in the deck if you need it. 3 Trainer's Mail to just kind of help with the consistency, get more Dark Patches, get more Max Elixirs. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Seeker to reuse all of our supporters, and then a really cool supporter line. 1 AZ to pick up a Hoopa or a Shaman or whatever you want. 1 Colress because you will more often than not be running with a full bench, so if your opponent plays 1 or 2 Pokemon, you can go ahead and play a Colress. 2 Shuffle your hand back into your deck and get a bunch of cards. 1 Hex Maniac to just shut down those stupid Safeguard Pokemon and be able to hit them with Darkrai. 1 Lysander to bring some stuff out, and because Lysander is awesome, only a 1-3 of N and Juniper just because you want to run so many more item cards in the deck like Dark Patch and Max Elixir. So unfortunately, the supporter line did suffer a little bit, but you'll actually find if you use this deck that these 2 are more than enough. 1 Zero-Sick just to disrupt our opponent and keep them from being able to do stuff if we happen to have a slow start. Or if we run up against like Mega Rayquaza, we can discard a DCE and be in an even better position. Then the 2 Verbank City Gym, like I said, for Hypnotoxic Laser. 2 Fighting Fury Belt to give both of our Darkrai's, I mean really you just throw these on Darkrai's, give them more longevity and make them be able to last longer and hit more Pokemon. And then 10 Darkness Energy for Dark Patch, Max Elixir, and even just playing them normally. So yeah, that is the deck. It's a really, really fun, really, really fast deck. Easily my favorite in the entire expanded tier. And you know what? I can't wait any longer. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Ekatom. Maybe Ekatom. I don't know how to say it. But either way, running a pure fire deck. And I mean, this, just a heads up, this will be a little bit longer of a live just because I'm trying to complete a whole daily challenge. It actually might be longer, or it might even be shorter depending on how good of a match we get. I have had matches where I've been able to get all 1000 damage in at one time. So, I mean, it really just depends on how long it takes me to complete the daily challenge. And I do start off with a Shaman, but actually in this deck, that's not too huge of a deal because the rest of my hand is pretty amazing. I can Ultra Ball, get rid of the Darkness Energy and the Trainer's Mail to grab a Hoopa, get a Darkrai, a Keldeo, and probably a Shaman as well. So I'm going to have 2 Shaman on board, which is a little bit unfortunate. I could try to grab an AZ, but I don't think that would be a smart idea. And it looks like we're playing a Mega Houndoom deck, so yeah, those Fighting Fury Belts will definitely be very, very handy. And let's see what we draw. Okay, so we actually get... Oh, this is beautiful. This is really beautiful. So what I can do is go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Darkness Energy, and the Trainer's Mail to grab a Hoopa. wherever that is, and I don't have a Hoopa. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate. Hoopa's prized. So I think I'm just gonna grab a Darkrai, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna grab this Darkrai. So if I had a Hoopa, this would have gone so much faster, but unfortunately I don't. So I'm a little bit stuck and a little bit slower, so you know what? I'm just gonna try to go for a max elixir. Ah, damn it, I should have just computer searched that away. Get rid of the Hypnotoxic Laser and the Fighting Fury Belt. I know I said it would be important, but I think for the sake of this, I just have to do it. You know what? I'm gonna grab an AZ. I could have grabbed a. I'm gonna grab a Juniper. I could have grabbed an AZ definitely, but I think a Juniper just because I want to get 7 cards and go from there. And okay, so I get a. You know what? I can definitely work with this. So let's go ahead and play the Verbank City Gym down. Go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Darkness Energy and the Chorus to grab the probably a Keldeo. Yeah, just so I can have that rush in and retreat with my Shaman. And you know what? Despite starting with the Shaman and not having a Hoopa, we still have a pretty darn good board set up. Even with, and we can't talk. I'm a little bit too excited. And we also have a Juniper for next turn. So this actually works out very, very nicely. My opponent does wake up, so that's a little unfortunate. But I mean, that's the power of this deck. You can start with a Shaman and start with a somewhat bad hand. But if you just get like one Ultra Ball, one Supporter, anything like that, you can just start powering through your opponent so quickly. Unfortunately, my opponent does have the Pokemon Center Lady, so that stinks. But I do still have the Juniper. Just going to get some more cards. And I get another Laser Bank, which is freaking amazing. So I get 30 more damage onto the Houndoom. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and Battle Compressor. Probably get rid of the Zero-Sick. Get rid of things that I don't want to see. I have 3 Dark Patches left in my deck. I'm going to get rid of the Zero-Sick and an AZ. And then probably Ultra Ball, get rid of the Verbank and the Lysander to grab another Shaman. Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think I want Shaman. Didn't mean to misclick there. But yeah, I mean, I know I said you normally don't want to have Shaman on there, but I'm going to go ahead and actually Escape Rope just so I still have my retreat for the turn. I mean, I know I could have rushed in, but I wanted to just go ahead and waste that card. See if I could somehow knock my opponent out this turn, and oh man, we might be able to do it. Let's go ahead and Dark Patch once onto this Darkrai. I can Dark Patch again, and then if I hit the Max Elixir, I think I actually win. Yeah, come on, can I hit it? Can I hit it? Can I hit it? Yes, okay, I actually win. And did you guys just see that? I had 2 energy in play at the start of this turn, and now I'm all of a sudden hitting for 140 damage with Dark Pulse, and in conjunction with Laser Bank knocking out this Houndoom EX. I mean, my opponent probably thought he was safe, but you know what? With Dark Patch and Max Elixir, I was able to go ahead and get 170 damage on my opponent and go ahead and start the daily challenge off with a bang. So that was great. That was exactly what this deck is supposed to do, and unfortunately I only got 140 damage, so I guess we're just gonna have to find at least one more with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against OJO with a Grass Water Psychic deck. Wait, is this could very well be Honor Stories, could also be Mega Rayquaza. Then again, Mega Rayquaza, you'd probably see a Dragon, in Honor Story, so you would see the Jirachi. Okay, so it looks like this is Mega Rayquaza without the Dragon Mega Ray, I guess? I don't know, but either way, my opponent calls a coin flip. We do lose, but you know what? That is actually just fine with this deck because, like I said, you are more often than not able to hit with a Night Spear or a Dark Pulse turn 1, and heck, we might even be able to hit for a, what is that, Dark Head, if we hit the heads on the Hypnotoxic Laser. So, I mean, that's something to look for and is something that I've actually pulled off plenty of times with this deck, so I'm kind of excited to see what we're able to pull off. Heck, even if our opponent starts with an Execute, we might be able to get a knockout with Hypnotoxic Laser and then use Junk Hunt with Sableye to just get some cards back while taking a knockout. So, I mean, there's plenty of options with this deck. I mean, I say plenty of options, but then again, you're only attacking with 2 Pokemon, so there's not exactly that many options, but there's still plenty of ways to get to those couple options. And unfortunately, we do mulligan. I really liked that hand. I mean, apart from the fact that we would have to rely on Trainer's Mail to potentially get like an Ultra Ball or a supporter, but I mean, we run enough outs in the deck to where it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And okay, we are starting with a Shaman again and 2 VS Seeker. Well, that's unfortunate. Looks like we're starting Shaman 2 times in a row, but like I said, with this deck, it really doesn't matter that much. I mean, I have like 6 of my 9 Pokemon are actually decent starters, and what? My opponent let me go first? That was weird. Wow, I don't know why my opponent let me go first, but I am going to go ahead and get rid of a Juniper, an N, and a Lysander. Probably play the energy onto Shaman just so I have it there, and then go for the Juniper. Gets rid of a bunch of resources, but you know what? I need to go for it at this point. I got a Darkrai, and this is exactly why I love Hexmaniac, because of the stupid Suicune in front of me. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Verbank and the Sableye. That could be a little unfortunate, but I'm just going to go ahead and grab a Hoopa, get a Keldeo and another Shaman, and even have a Darkness Energy in the discard pile now to go ahead and put onto a Darkrai. Play the Verbank City Gym down, go for the Hoopa, get only 2 EXs, I don't need to get 3, and there's only 1 Darkrai left in my deck anyway. Okay, so I have 2 lasers. Is my Hexmaniac? Yes, my Hexmaniac is in the deck. That is phenomenal. I probably should have gotten rid of that with Battle Compressor, but I don't know, I was a little bit too antsy, and also the fact that I have to discard 2 cards already with I'd have to, oh wow. So I have plenty of chances to go ahead and get something that will get me the Hexmaniac. Heck, I can even go for a Trainer's Mail next turn. Now I do get the Max Elixir. I can go ahead and put that probably on the Keldeo. Or not. Never mind, I don't get anything. So I am just going to go ahead and, what was that? Triple Trainer's Mail. See what else I can get. Try to get as many energy in play as possible, or I whiff on 2 consecutive Max Elixirs. That's just unfortunate. I'm going to go for the last one. Yeah, I'm going to grab the VS Seeker. That way I can go ahead and computer search for whatever I need next turn, and then also have a Juniper or something if I need it. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and retreat my Shaman into my Darkrai. I know that means I'll have to put an energy on the Darkrai or an energy on the Keldeo to get it out of the active. But you know what? That's something that I can deal with. And the nice thing is, Laserbank is going ahead and putting some damage on the Suicune to where I don't need that many energy in order to be able to Dark Pulse for the knockout on the Suicune. But either way, I think, even though my opponent has a Safeguard Suicune out, I actually think that I have the advantage, because I went through over half my deck in one turn, and that's the power of this deck. You're able to go through so much. Unfortunately, I missed 2 Max Elixirs, which does suck. But, I mean, that's not the end of the world. I have, like, Dark Patch, I have other Max Elixirs, and why is everybody running Pokemon Center Lady? Good lord! That doesn't even make sense in some decks. I don't know. I mean, it worked for my opponent this turn, so I can't knock it too much. And, I have to get rid of a Dark Patch. That sucks. But I can just go ahead and computer search. Probably grab, You know what? Screw it. I'm going to computer search for a Darkness Energy. And I have a Darkness Energy in my deck. How did I whiff twice on the Max Elixir? But anyway, let's just go ahead and VS Seeker to grab a Juniper and go from there. So, wow, that was not what I wanted at all. And, whatever. I have the Hexmaniac at the very least. So I will be able to attach an energy to the Darkrai manually and then knock out the Suicune. So this is one of the problems with this deck. If you whiff your Max Elixirs and draw poorly, it can be a lot slower than you need it to, but luckily my opponent's deck isn't particularly fast, but either way, we're going to be hitting for a ton of damage later, so I'm just fine with that. My opponent can damage this Darkrai, but this is a match where the Dark Pulse Darkrai will be doing the majority of the attacking. Opponent hits for 70, not a big deal, because you know what, this Suicune is going to go ahead and get knocked out this turn, so I'm just going to rush in and retreat with my Keldeo, go into my Darkrai on the bench, play the Hexmaniac to shut down that stupid Safeguard, and then knock out this Suicune with the Dark Pulse, and be in an absolutely phenomenal position, because even though we started slow, my opponent started slower, and he was relying on Suicune to wall me a little bit, but Hexmaniac just came through and knocked him out, so Yeah, and we even get a laser off that, so I will be able to knock out this Manaphy next turn. I would have been able to knock it out anyway because I have the Darkness Energy in my hand, but the Hypnotoxic Laser just guarantees that I'll be able to 100% knock it out. And, I can even go for the Kangaskhan, which... Actually, that might be what I'm going to go for, because the Manaphy is a prize I can take at any point. If I can go ahead and get damage on the Kangaskhan, then that might work. And hey, my opponent just retreats. Oh, that's right. He didn't have free treat because I played the Hex Maniac. Unintended consequence, but you know what? That completely works as well. I'm going to go for the Hypnotoxic Laser, hopefully get heads. I get tails, so I don't get to knock out the Kangaskhan, but I still get to do heavy, heavy damage to it. In fact, I could even take a knockout on the Manaphy if I wanted, but the Kangaskhan will get knocked out coming back into my turn if my opponent doesn't have a Pokemon Center Lady or anything like that from the poison. And so I will just be in a great position. I even have the Escape Rope if I need it. And see, this is how the deck works. Like, I don't have any supporters or anything, but my setup was already so good that I don't even need it. I mean, I can just keep knocking out my opponent's Pokemon, and actually my opponent just loses now. He triple draws, which means the Kangaskhan will get knocked out coming back into my turn. Then I can go ahead and go for a Dark Pulse on the Manaphy to knock it out as well. And, you know what? I'm just going to go for as much damage as I possibly can. I'm going to go ahead and play the laser. Maybe it heads, possibly. Nope. So, you know what? I'm going to try to get as much damage as possible. Go ahead and... Oh, my opponent concedes. I was getting greedy. I was being that guy. And I paid for it. So, I mean, that shows you not to be that guy. Go ahead and take the damage when you have it. But unfortunately, we are barely over a third of the way there. So I guess I'm just going to have to keep finding matches with this deck until we complete the daily challenge. So go 0 for 3 on heads. Not a big deal. But anyway, let's just go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. And we have found another one against 2, 4, 3, 2, 6, 7, 7. Don't know the significance behind that number, but apparently it's significant to this person, so we're just going to roll with it. That guy has an awesome mustache. We do lose the coin flip. A little bit unfortunate, but, I mean, like I said, this deck doesn't really mind it. I am okay going first or second. And, ooh, this is sexy-ish. It would be sexier if I had another Pokemon that I could Max Elixir onto, but unfortunately I do not. So I might just have to Juniper away a bunch of stuff. I mean, if I didn't have the Max Elixirs, it'd be fine, but okay, so my opponent is running a Swampert. What? I don't even know what my opponent is running. Regice, Ghastly, Psyduck, and I mean, this deck could, I mean, once I see, wait, what? The heck? Is this just like a water random deck? So I'm going to go ahead and Battle Compressor first, just go ahead and get some stuff in the discard pile. One thing that I'm seeing the Regice and I'm realizing is that this deck could definitely benefit from Steam Siege and the Pokemon Ranger, but I don't know. This deck was made long before Steam Siege came out. And so, I mean, naturally, it would not have Pokemon Ranger, but that's something you could definitely add into this deck. But, I mean, I kind of like it the way it is. Maybe put that in place of Zero-Sick or something like that. And this is actually really awesome, because I can go ahead and Battle Compressor, get rid of the Darkness Energy, and, well, Ultra Ball, get rid of the Battle Compressor and the Darkness Energy, grab a Hoopa, so I can go ahead and grab a Shaman, Darkrai, and a Keldeo, and then I can even Poison this Mudkip and go from there. I don't know why I didn't get rid of the other Ultra Ball, because I don't really need it, but I wanted to save it in case I got some Dark Patches to be able to just, I don't know, accelerate more energy onto my Pokemon. And this is a match where last match I had the Dark Pulse Darkrai doing most of the damage. This is one where I'll probably have Night Spear doing the majority of the damage just because my opponent has low HP Pokemon. And I will have to be wary of that Regice. But what I can do, I could computer search for a Dark Patch, but I think I'm actually just going to hold on to it for the time being and go from there. I was not able to get any other energy accelerated this turn, so that stinks a little bit, but it's not too bad, mostly because... Okay, so my opponent doesn't have anything either. He does wake up, but I want to get rid of that Regice. I mean, that thing is a problem. I'm going to go ahead and... Dark Patch, yeah. Dark Patch onto this Darkrai. I mean, like I said that I wanted to focus on the other Night Spear Darkrai this match, but I think the Dark Pulse Darkrai is needed to one-shot this Regice before it's able to start Resistance Blizzarding. But I am going to computer search, get rid of the Ultra Ball, and yeah, probably that Darkrai. I want to keep the Sableye just in case to grab. What do I want to grab? Hold on. Okay, so one Lysander's in my discard pile. I'm not sure. Probably a VS Seeker, but I don't know. I think a Juniper is good too. Just because, I mean, I will get more than enough energy in the discard pile for Dark Patch. But okay, so this I can kind of work with. Let's go ahead and Max Elixir. Hit nothing. Man, I am just going 0 for on Max Elixirs this match. Retreat into my Darkrai on the bench. And I can actually Laser Bank my way through this Regice most likely. Dark Pulse, get 80 damage onto that Mudkip, get rid of it, and go from there. Like I said, this deck could definitely benefit from Pokemon Ranger, but I don't know. That's something for you guys to decide and something for you guys to try out. Now that my opponent has the Regice active and will more than likely be able to Resistance Blizzard. Ooh, even Ace Trainers. That's annoying. I think I'll just have to laser bank my way through it and even potentially get a little bit lucky on some heads. And alright, my opponent evolves into Golduck, so I really don't understand what my opponent's entire deck strategy is. I mean, Regice is definitely going to give me a lot of trouble right here, but luckily it will be a 3-hit, potentially 4-hit KO depending on what I have. And alright, so I'll go ahead and get the Hypnotoxic Laser. I get the Juniper, so that is just something that I can hang my hat on, and I have enough cards in my deck to where I will be okay, I think. I mean, if my opponent stays asleep, actually, I'll be able to go ahead and Night Spear, start getting some damage on, like, the Ghastly or something this turn. Go for another Max Elixir. That is phenomenal. I'm going to put it on the Keldeo just so I have the Rush Treat. Let's go ahead and Dark Patch onto this Darkrai on the bench, and then play the regular energy onto it. My opponent's Regice is asleep. Let's go ahead and play the Fighting Fury Belt there. Go into my Darkrai on the bench, because even though my opponent will, even though I can't damage my opponent's Regice, I will be able to just start getting some damage on the bench to where I can potentially knock out the Ghastly next turn. And luckily, my opponent stays asleep, so that was lucky for us. I will 100% admit that that was lucky for us, because otherwise, if my opponent just kept Resistance Blizzarding, we would be in a bad spot. But this deck does have outs to pretty much everything, and K attaches the Floatstone to the Regice. He still won't be able to retreat because of sleep. Then he evolves into the Haunter in order to confuse my Darkrai and his Regice, and I think I'll still be just fine regardless. Wait, does confusion cancel out sleep? Because if so, and my opponent gets heads, oh, thank God my opponent got tails. Okay, so I did not know, actually, that confusion cancels out sleep. So that is something that I had no idea about. But what I am going to go ahead and do is reset the status on my Darkrai with the Keldeo, and then retreat back into my Night Spear Darkrai, because I will be able to knock out the Regice this turn with a Night Spear and get some more damage onto the Haunter, to where I will be able to Lysander in the Golduck next turn, Hypnotoxic Laser, and then Night Spear it for the win while also knocking out the Haunter. So, I mean, I'm just in such a great position right now. Did get a little bit lucky, I will admit that, but I still think we are just fine. And alright, my opponent sends out the Golduck. That is exactly what I wanted him to send out. If he doesn't evolve anything, then I will just be able to take the win next turn. I do have plenty. Never mind, he has the Gengar. So that's unfortunate, but I will be able to Lysander that in and hit it for super effective damage, which is, what is that? Fresh water set? Oh well. I'm not going to knock it. What I am going to go ahead and do is via Seeker Lysander in the Gengar to get some more damage on it. I could go potentially into my Dark Pulse Darkrai to get some more damage off, but at this point, I might just Night Spear, get some damage on the Golduck, and never mind, my opponent forfeits. Oh, why do they always forfeit before I'm able to get off a big attack? Yeah, we only got 240 damage, so it looks like we are going to have to find another match, and yes, I know that this is a little bit longer of a live, so I apologize for that, but I just wanted to go ahead and do a full daily challenge and record that with you guys, see how you guys like it, and please leave your, Please leave if you like it or not in the comment section below so I know if you guys would like me to do more of this stuff. But either way, I'm just going to go ahead and find one last match with this deck. Well, hopefully one last match. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we have played 3 matches, and I'm really hoping that this will be the last one against J-Ray 1979 with a Dark and Dragon deck. So we'll see what he is running. I mean, I know that there was normal as well, but let's be real, that's probably just Shaman. Huh, okay, so maybe it's a Dark Mega Rayquaza deck? I don't know. We do win the coin flip, yay! So we do get to go first, meaning that we can get some Hypnotoxic Laser damage off immediately. And I even knew. Okay. I was going to say that's a good hand, but it's not really a good hand. I would be a complete liar if I said that. It'd be a good hand if I got like a Computer Search or an Ultra Ball off that, but as it stands now, this is not a good hand. Because I will just Shaman for like 1. Oh boy, am I going to Shaman for 1? I think I'm going to have to Shaman for 1. Ugh, that's gross. But let's hope that 1 is a doozy of a card, and... okay, it's an N. I can work with that. So, turns out, Shamaning for 1 is not the end of the world and actually is somewhat decent. But, okay, so, let's go ahead and play the Fighting Fury Belt there. Oh, obviously there. And then end the turn. I only have the N in the discard pile, so I think I'll just have to N again. But I do have a Darkness Energy in my hand. So, I mean, it's not the first turn I wanted at all, but, I mean, it's something that I can still work with. And this is the type of deck, I mean, the last deck was focused around Night Spear Darkrai. The deck that I'm facing now will be focusing on Dark Pulse Darkrai. So, I mean, that just gives you versatility between 2 Darkrai's. And yes, my opponent ends, thank you, Lord. I didn't get anything much better. Oh, boy. I thought that ending would be good for me, but it turns out it's not, and what the heck, he's running a Crocodile? So it looks like my opponent's trying to complete the same daily challenge as I am. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Attaches a Muscle Band and a Darkness Energy. Gonna go ahead and play the Keldeo. Play the Darkness Energy onto that Keldeo. And then Shaman for 2. Alright, so we Shamaned for 1, and now we're gonna Shaman for 2. We have plenty of Gross. Sorry, we don't have plenty of Gross. We have plenty of cards in the deck that would be a lot better than what we drew. If I can hit the Max Elixir, then it won't be too horrible. Maybe. Yes, okay, I do. So there is a chance to pull off a Night Spear this turn. I am just going to have to N again because there is no way. Well, I mean, a Zing would only get me 3 cards, and I don't know, I just don't see that being that beneficial. This is a lot more beneficial because what I can do is go ahead and Laser Bank up that Yveltal to where I can potentially knock it out with Night Spear in the coming turns. Get Tails, not a big deal. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Battle Compressor and the Hex Maniac to probably grab this Darkrai so I can start powering that up next turn. Or just send it into harm's way because it has no energy on it. And, I mean, it's expendable somewhat at this point. I mean, my opponent will have 60 damage on the Yveltal coming back into my turn if he doesn't get rid of the poison. And the Malamar on the bench is slightly annoying, but because I have Rush Treat with Keldeo, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So... okay, why is everybody running Pokemon Center Lady? Good lord, what the heck is this? I don't understand. What the heck is my opponent? Why? Why is everybody suddenly running Pokemon Center Lady? I run that in like 2 or 3 like actually competitive decks, but all of a sudden in this live I have seen 3 of them. Sorry, I just don't know. It's like people running random Crushing Hammer or random Crushing Hammer or random something else. Or random red card, that's it. Sorry, I couldn't think of what it was. And okay, I can work with this. So what I am going to do is go ahead and Trainer's Mail, hopefully get something that discards cards, maybe? Eventually? Can I Trainer's Mail? Okay, so I get a Battle Compressor, which can discard some cards so that I can Dark Patch for, a couple. So that works. Let's go ahead and Battle Compressor, get rid of the Zero Sick, so I can have access to it later. And then how many Dark Patches do I have? I want to get rid of 1 Energy Guaranteed, but I don't have enough Dark Patches to make getting rid of too many more Dark Energy worth it. Let's go ahead and rush in with Keldeo. So, I think Night Spearing is the play this turn. Yeah, let's go ahead and rush in with Keldeo. I can... First and foremost, I can Dark Patch onto one of my Darkrai. I think I'm just going to attach to this Darkrai, because, I mean, I have a Night Spear this turn anyway, but, yeah, just go ahead and do that. Didn't matter what order I did it, as long as both energy got on the Darkrai's, and then I'm going to go ahead and laser, hopefully get heads. There we go. Then go ahead and retreat with my Keldeo into my Darkrai, so not exactly what I wanted, but you know what, I can work with it, and then let's go ahead and get some more damage onto the Yveltal on the bench. And I have the Lysander in my discard pile for next turn that I can go ahead, if my opponent lets this Yveltal get knocked... Oh, if my opponent lets this Yveltal take the poison damage coming into next turn, I can Lysander in the Yveltal on the bench and then hit that for a ton of damage with Night Spear, and also KO the active Yveltal, well, the active Yveltal that will be on the bench with the bench damage from Night Spear. So even though I said this would be a Dark Pulse Darkrai centered match, it's turning out that Night Spear Darkrai is putting in a good amount of work right now. Actually, I mean, I say that, but I'm realizing that if so there's 5 damage, 12, then it would have been, no, actually wouldn't have been enough. So never mind, forget what I said, and alright, Fighting Fury Belt coming through. What I can also do is Lysander in that stupid little dino, so I don't have to worry about max potion shenanigans with my opponent and their Hydreigon. But actually, never mind, I didn't put my Lysander in the discard pile. So instead, I'm just going to go ahead and Chorus. Get some more energy, I'll get some more cards, and go ahead and... Good Darkrai again. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball first. Get rid of the Trainer's Mail and the Darkness Energy. Grab this Darkrai just cuz. Yeah, play that down because this Darkrai is more than likely going to get knocked out this turn. Go ahead and Dark Patch onto it. If this active Darkrai gets knocked out this coming turn, I can just Dark Patch. And okay, unfortunately I whiff on the Max Elixir, so that stinks a little bit. But what I can do is actually, I'm going to save this Darkrai just so I can keep the energy in play so that the Hydreigon does not become a factor. And while I will go into... yeah, I'm going to go into a damaged Darkrai, but my opponent will need 2 energy on the Yveltal in order to be able to knock me out this turn. So, I mean, I think that was the play, and hey, I get the Lysander. I actually did my prize cards backwards than what I usually do, but you know what? It got me a Lysander, so I am 1000% okay with it. Opponent sends in a Malamar. I don't know. I think Malamar is not going to be a problem, because it can put me to sleep, but my Keldeo will just be able to rush in and retreat. And based on the fact that my opponent's continuing to play this out, I think I will actually be able to complete the daily challenge. So this is probably going to be the last match, thank the Lord. But otherwise, I am just fine. I think I'm going to Chorus this turn, maybe. Because I have a full bench. My opponent has 3 Pokemon on the bench, so I'll be able to get 8 cards off of it and hopefully get some more damage to where I can one-shot this Malamar EX. So I do stay asleep. That's not a big deal. I have 7 energy in play right now. Nothing in the discard pile. So what I am going to go ahead and do is VS Seeker, maybe. Okay, do I want... Yeah, I want the Chorus. And then I'm just going to try to get 1 more energy, because if I get 1 more in play, then I can actually one-shot this Malamar. And there it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and Max Elixir, see if I can hit another one, maybe. Yeah, there we go. So I have another Night Spear Darkrai powered up and ready to go. I'm going to save the energy for Ultra Balling for another one of the Dark Pulse Darkrai's next turn, just so I can have more damage out if I need it. And okay, so I'm just going to grab another Ultra Ball, and I could manually attach this turn, but like I said, I'm saving the energy for another Dark Pulse Darkrai, because I will be able to attach the energy and then Dark Pulse. And alright, so we're in a good position, and actually I realized did I do it out of order? No, because yeah, okay, I did not do my prize cards out of order. And okay, so I just need to knock out 1 more EX. I have the Lysander, maybe. Do I have the Lysander? I can't remember. But yeah, so this is... Okay, so I actually win. Yeah, I win. So I'm going to go ahead and do nothing because my opponent just concedes. Do we complete the daily challenge? Yeah, we do. All right, finally, we got a last match that actually completed the daily challenge. We were able to get almost 500 damage. So, yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for watching this daily challenge. I hope you enjoyed this deck. This, like I said, this is easily my favorite expanded deck, and it's really, really fun. It's really, really fast, and actually has good matchups against a lot of the more annoying decks like Trevenant, Night March, that type of thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment in the comment section below telling me the first Pokemon game you played, and also let me know if you enjoyed watching me complete a daily challenge, because if so, I will try to do that more often. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.